For this quick and easy background color change, we are only using a couple simple tools in Photoshop. So let's get started. With our image open in Photoshop, the first thing we want to do is make sure that it is edited the way that we want it to be. And the next step is we're going to go up to our contextual taskbar and remove the background. Next, we're going to add a new fill layer, and we're going to choose a solid color. First, we're going to choose a light color, and I'll show you why here in just a moment. Let's say we're using this light blue. We just want to take this color fill layer and drag it down beneath our subject. When we have a light background like this, it looks fine. And if we were to zoom in, we could see that the hairline looks okay enough, and you can't really tell that there's any issue. However, let's go ahead and choose a darker color, such as a dark blue. And now you can see there is a haloing around the edges, and that's going to look bad when it shows up in pretty much any dark color that you choose. There are a few methods that you can use to get rid of this haloing effect, one being the brush tool. However, we're going to use the clone stamp tool for this. So to use this, first we want to create a new layer, and we want to make this a clipping mask so that it only affects our subject layer. So to do this, we want to hold down Alt or Option and then hover in between the two layers and then click, and that's going to clip this to our subject layer. From here, we want to go ahead and choose our clone stamp tool. We want to make sure we have our mode set to normal, our opacity at 100, our flow set to 20, and we want to make sure our sample layers are set to current and below. So from here, we just want to zoom in on the areas that we want to work on. We want to basically sample the hair that is close to the edge, but that might be a little bit darker. So to do this, we just hold down the Alt or Option key to select the area that we want to clone, and then gently just start painting around the edges. Of course, this is a completely subjective process, so do this as much as needed or as little as you want to. And again, this may not be necessary if you are using a lighter color background. And I'll show you the difference here in a moment of what this will look like once we do this clipping mask with the clone stamp tool, and how that will look on a lighter background. I'm just going to go through and do this here really quickly and speed this up. Now, of course, the more you go over each section, the darker it's going to be, since you are working at 20% flow. And of course, it is cloning any area that you are sampling. So if you're choosing something with a lighter area of hair, it's going to show up somewhere. Okay, once you have the edges the way that you want them, let's go ahead and take a look when we turn this off. You can see the haloing happening here and the difference. Let's go ahead and choose a lighter color once again. Let's go with yellow. On a lighter color backdrop, you'll notice that the edges look a little bit darker, because if we go ahead and turn off that clipping mask, you can see there's a little more space between the hair and it's not so thick and darker on the edges. So it truly is subjective how you want it to look, and depending on the color that you have selected. If we go and choose a different color background, you can make it darker again so that you can't see the haloing around the edges. Now, I am working on a PNG file, but you may be doing this with a JPEG or a RAW file, and either one works just fine. With a RAW file, you'll have a little bit more control over the colors when you're editing your actual photo, but doing this process should work out to be the exact same. Don't forget to save your image, and you are finished. If you need help getting a truly white background for a product photo, watch this next.